Man, Ray Fisher was dropping some bombs this past Saturday, and we're going to talk about it.
You should probably move.
What's going on, my DC fans, and welcome back to another episode. To start off the show, let's get right into April 3rd. What was so significant about April 3rd? That was the placeholder date for the Cyborg movie that was supposed to come out this year. Obviously, we know that it didn't happen. Funny thing is that even if it was supposed to come out, we wouldn't be watching it as we speak because of what's going on with the coronavirus. So, Ray Fisher is Cyborg. We all love Ray Fisher as Cyborg. We want to see him in the Snyder Cut. We want to see more scenes of him because according to Zack, he was the heart of the movie. And Ray's just a great guy. Another guy who would do anything for Zack and hasn't had much work ever since the Justice League came out. Another actor who got screwed, in my opinion and many others' opinions. So he apparently does a lot of stuff on Twitch, I think. He plays a lot of games on Twitch. Yes, Friday, April 3rd was his day, and there was an event for him, so we all tweeted out, we love Ray Snyder. We all love Ray Fisher. Showed our support and love, and then at the end of the night, Ray, came on and tweeted out and said, thank you guys so much. Then he said, you know what, I'm going to do a live chat with you guys on Saturday. Ask any questions you want within reason, obviously. This is what we're going to talk about today. The questions that he was asked, not all of them, but specific ones regarding the Snyder Cut and what's going on with the Dceu. And I'm going to tell you his answers, and we're going to just expand on that. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. One of the first things was that Ray was asked, have you seen the Snyder Cut? And he said no, he hasn't, which is a shocker. He says he hasn't seen the cut yet because of he was supposed to, but there was some timing issues. He never saw it. It's very interesting. Guys like that haven't seen this movie, especially like a guy like Ray, who was all about Zack and has been campaigning for this cut for so long. As an actor, someone who works on their craft, I don't know if they necessarily, I don't know if they need to see those movies. Like, I know Jesse Eisenberg, I believe he doesn't watch his own movies. He doesn't watch them at all. He goes to the premieres, but he doesn't watch them. So any movie that Jesse Eisenberg has ever acted in, he hasn't seen. I think Ray might be on that same side. He's pushing for the Snyder Cut, but he hasn't seen it yet. But he will, and he wants to. But I find that really interesting, is that even Zack didn't send it to him or something, or he hasn't really been pushing the issue to see the movie. Because if I was in Ray's position, I'd be like, day one, let me see this cut. Something interesting was that Eli Snyder, Zack Snyder's son, he did the choreography for the football scene. And for many of you should know, or who don't know, there was going to be Cyborg football scenes in the Snyder Cut. Yes, they were in the trailer, but they were never in the movie. Eli Snyder is a football player. Zack's son, he's been in a bunch of Zack's movies, so it makes sense that he would help out with the football scenes, which was very cool. Again, little tidbits here or there that you find out about these movies and what happened behind the scenes, so I thought that was pretty cool. Someone asked Ray what his favorite Zack Snyder movie was, and Ray Fisher's response was BVS. Great answer. I would probably have to say BVS as well, but Man of Steel is really close. And then you got it's hard, but yes, BVS would probably be my favorite as well. And of course, he was in that movie for a couple seconds, so yeah, that makes it pretty good too. And that's just one of the reasons why BVS is so good, is the little tidbits that you always forget about. You forget that Aquaman's in it. You forget that the Flash is in it sometimes, or Cyborg. But yes, he said that was his favorite Zack Snyder movie. What's interesting, someone else asked him, what was your favorite scene from the movie? And he said he doesn't look at it like that. He looks at movies as a whole, and he doesn't just pick them apart and pick his favorite scenes. He looks at them as a whole and says, oh no, I really enjoyed that movie. I don't pick specific scenes. So I thought that was interesting, and I like the way he worded that. I'm guessing someone asked him about the release of the Aircut. Do you know anything about that, or the hashtag? And he responded with, perhaps I've heard some things. Now that is a boom, big mind blower. Perhaps I've heard some things. Now, it depends on how he said it. Now again, I didn't watch this whole thing. I got a lot of these questions and answers from Ben W, so I have to throw his name out there. Thanks for that, Ben. Thanks for putting everything on there. So if you look at it as perhaps I've heard about it, I've heard about the Aircut, then that's something totally different. But if he said, perhaps I've heard some things about the Aircut, meaning I've heard, possibly it's going to happen. It's going to come out. That is huge. That is boom. As again, with how much we push for the Snyder Cut, we would love to see the Aircut too, because again, that is a completely different movie. We know that. So much more Joker, possibly Parademons, possibly Steppenwolf. Again, I don't know if they filmed that. But yeah, if you give me a longer version of Suicide Squad that was different compared to what we got in the theater version, I'd be totally down with that. So yeah, that's awesome as well. Perhaps he's heard some things. Maybe it's coming. Maybe it's happening. Maybe all of this is happening at once. Someone asked him about a Cyborg solo movie, and he said, nothing is off the table. Obviously, yeah, like he didn't give it 100% answer saying yes, it's happening. He's just saying anything is possible, anything can happen. We know this. Of course, anything is possible. So it would be lovely to get a Cyborg film in the future. If Zack comes back to the DCEU, which I highly think he is, and is very successful, then he will most likely get a Cyborg movie, and he can finally have his own standalone thing, and that would be awesome, and that would be fantastic for Ray Fisher, because he definitely deserves it. Another question was, have you seen Henry in the black suit? He said he did not. Something that we've learned from Zack and many other directors in movies is that they like to keep a lot of things close to the chest. They like to hide a lot of things. Something I found interesting in the BVS commentary was Zack talking about the funeral scene at the end, where he said he used a bunch of people that are he used a bunch of like the producers and people that were working on the film instead of actors, because he didn't want the ending to be spoiled. He didn't want anyone to know that Superman dies. So literally the only one that knows Superman dies was Henry Cavill. Well, I guess Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, Amy Adams, they would know, and then just the crew. Like every other actor, all the other extras, they didn't want them seeing it or knowing or ruining the surprise or anything. So he kind of kept that close to the chest. So the fact that Ray didn't know or didn't see him in the black suit, two things. Either one, he didn't wear it at all and they were just going to change it in post-production, or two, Ray just never did those scenes with him in that suit. So take that as you will. Another good question was, has he met Sam Benjamin, aka Green Lantern? And Ray's response was, I have not, nor do I know, or did I know there's a Green Lantern in this movie. Again, goes back to Zack keeping things close to the chest. We know that Green Lantern was in this movie some way, somehow. We don't know if it was Sam Benjamin. We are assuming. Now, if you take that scene, the history lesson, and you take that as the Green Lantern, that counts, but he's not a part of the League. Zack is inferring that the Green Lantern is a part of the Justice League. Hence the merchandise and all that. He's not just saying that he's in the movie. Maybe there was a Green Lantern scene where no one knew about it. It was like Ray wasn't there, didn't even know about it. But it seems like Green Lantern might show up at the end in the final battle. Again, which is very interesting that Ray didn't know or hasn't met Sam Benjamin. So those scenes would have been filmed separately. But again, that's assuming that Sam Benjamin is Green Lantern. Maybe, and again, he could be lying. He could be hiding that to save the movie. And again, maybe it was a different actor. Maybe it wasn't Sam Benjamin. We don't know 100% if it was. But we do know that Green Lantern was in this movie some way, somehow. Also, Martian Manhunter. And according to Sam Benjamin, he did a 30-minute scene that was cut from the movie. So Green Lantern's in the movie. Ray didn't know that there wasn't one in the movie. Interesting, but again, he could be lying, could be holding it close to the chest. Zack could, we just don't know, but we will find out in the Snyder Cut. And then to go along with that, he says, have you ever met Ray Porter? And he says, yes, he has met Ray Porter, but he met him at a play, which again, didn't meet him on the set, which he really wouldn't, because Ray would just do a lot of voice work. Ray Porter, sorry, two Rays, Ray Fisher, Ray Porter. Ray Porter would just do a lot of voice work for his Darkseid portrayal. But they also said that he did some work. I guess most of his work would be in the history lesson. So therefore, yeah, Ray Fisher, he wouldn't have met him. I mean, there was a chance they could have came across each other's paths at the studio, but that didn't happen. So yeah, if Ray did any motion body capture work, it would be on the history lesson, which I think he did do some work with that. But I don't know. So yeah, he only met him apparently once at a play. So again, that's interesting. This is my last question, or the last one I'm going to go over, and it's someone asked him, any DC projects in the works for you? And Ray responded with, nothing I can talk about. I know there are plans in the works. That's the last question I'm gonna lead off with. That is huge. Nothing he's allowed to talk about, but he knows there's stuff in the works. Ray is Cyborg. You're talking about DC projects. He is Cyborg, saying, I can't talk about anything, but I know there's stuff in the works. Again, hush, hush. Zack is coming back. He's going to get his Cyborg movie. This universe is not being rebooted. He is going to be in Zack's DC universe. He's going to be in JL2 and JL3, and then he's probably going to get his own solo movie. This is happening. Again, Ray can't say anything. He's got to keep hush hush. And I appreciate him coming out and having this live chat. It was awesome. I appreciate the guys that videotaped it. I'm eventually gonna have to watch the whole thing, but I just wanted to go over the main points that he made during the live chat. He's a great guy. He deserves more, and he will truly have justice in the Snyder Cut, and it's going to be glorious. We all know this, and he's going to come back. Like I said, once again, he's going to come back for JL2 and JL3. I guarantee it. So that's the video, guys, and thanks for watching, and please subscribe because that helps me in return. I can help you, and as always, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, new content's coming to you from Subjective Reviews, and thank you for watching.